Here we have the integral of x to the 2/3 plus 1 dividing by x to the 2/3 minus 1. So let's rewrite the expression x to the 2/3 plus 1, x to the 2/3 minus 1 as follows. Plus 1 is the same as minus 1 plus 2. Minus 1 plus 2 is plus 1. And then this expression can be rewritten as x to the 2/3 minus 1 over x to the 2/3 minus 1 plus 2 over x to the 2/3 minus 1. This will be 1 and then plus 2 over x to the 2/3 minus 1. So the original integral becomes the integral of 1 plus 2 over x to the 2/3 minus 1. The integral of 1 is just x. And now we need to find this integral, the second integral right here. So it would be x plus this integral. Now let's find this integral. Let u be x to the 1/3, then u squared is x to the 1/3 squared, and we multiply these two exponents. 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. So u squared is 2/3, u is x to the 1/3. The derivative of u with respect to x is 1/3 x to the negative 2/3. Here we subtract 1 from the exponent. This can be rewritten as 1 over 3 times x to the positive 2/3. But x to the 2/3 is u squared, and so we have 3u squared. So here we get du is equal to 1 over 3u squared times dx. Multiply both sides by 3u squared. We get 3u squared, du is dx. And so now the integral of 2 over x to the 2/3 minus 1 dx, this will be u squared. Dx is 3u squared du. 2 times 3 is 6, and then we have u squared over u squared minus 1. And now we need to find this integral. The degree of this top polynomial is 2. The degree of the bottom polynomial is also 2. So we need to divide this quotient. So when we use polynomial long division, u squared divided by u squared minus 1 is 1 plus 1 over u squared minus 1. And so 6 times this integral now is 6 times the integral of 1 plus 1 over u squared minus 1. Antiderivative of 1 is just u. The antiderivative of 1 over u squared minus 1 Record the derivative of negative 1 over 2a times the natural log of a plus z over a minus z is 1 over z squared minus a squared. So the antiderivative of 1 over z squared minus a squared is negative 1 over 2a times the natural log of a plus z dividing by a minus z. Here we want the antiderivative of 1 over u squared minus 1. So we can let a squared be 1. So let a squared be 1, or a is 1. So the antiderivative of 1 over u squared minus 1 would be negative 1 over 2a, with a is 1. And so 8 is 1, 2 times 1 is just 2. And then here we have 8 is 1, 8 is 1. The variable here is u, so we put u. The variable here is z, and we put z. And so this integral right here is negative 1/2 times the natural log of 1 plus u over 1 minus u. So here we get 6u. 6 times 1/2 is 3. U is x to the 1/3. So in the place of u, we have x to the 1/3. So the integral of 2 over x to the 2/3 minus 1 is this. The original problem was the integral of x to the 2/3 plus 1 x over x to the 2/3 minus 1, which is the integral of 1 plus 2 over x to the 2/3 minus 1. Antiderivative of 1 is just x, and then antiderivative of this expression is this. So this is the answer.